Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got some Black Ops 3 gameplay for you and some huge news for the Call of Duty competitive scene. There is going to be a new league in Call of Duty, a new official league at that one, called the Call of Duty World League. Instead of being run by MLG, ESL, UMG, or a third party, this one is run directly by Activision, making it the official Call of Duty league from this point moving forward. This means a direct publisher to studio to player involvement, just like other esports, just like League of Legends, Smite, Counter-Strike. I think actually Counter-Strike's a little bit more reliant on CSL, but they get a lot of support from Steam, and this is a massive step forward for Call of Duty. It could be good or bad since it's new and Activision has not run a league before, so this is going to be interesting. Lots of news about it. One of the first things you'll find interesting is that there are two tiers being called divisions. One is the Pro Division and one is the Challenge Division. The Pro Division is pretty much what you would think of now our pro teams: Optic, Envy, FaZe, all those kind of teams. I think we're taking 12 from North America, 10 from Europe, and if I'm not mistaken, 6 from Australia/Oceania. The Asias are being left out because there's not very many pro teams in that region, but these guys are kind of grandfathered in, the old teams, all the guys you're familiar with. And then there's going to be a Challenge Division, which sounds a lot like Challenger from League of Legends, but the Challenge Division is where top-ranking amateurs can go to LANs and place and compete against pros and play really hard and get moved up to the Pro Division or get moved into the Call of Duty Championship, which we'll talk about later. COD Champs has changed, but there are going to be professional teams and amateur teams, more amateur teams than usual, playing in the Call of Duty Championship. And again, this sounds a lot like the Challenger Division from League of Legends, which has been very successful, and I don't see any issue copying that model into Call of Duty. The league is running a little bit differently as far as timing is concerned as well, and this is where we move into Call of Duty Championship, but the league kicks off in January, which is, you know, what you'd kind of expect. We usually slog through November and December trying to figure out the best esports settings, and once we've got it all figured out, January is the time that the real competition begins. However, Call of Duty Champs, or COD Champs, has been moved from March to an unannounced date in fall 2016. I'm probably going to bet September, October, because that's when we tend to wind down on the last COD and get ready for the next one. And I think that's a good thing. This is definitely better. I always found it very strange that COD Champs takes place in March when they've only been playing the game in its proper competitive settings for 2, maybe 3 months tops, and then we still have another 6 months of competitive COD with a UMG champ or an MLG champ, but not the official Call of Duty Championship, which was just kind of quite weird. And this is going to work much better. You'll see teams practicing much harder. The $1 million prize pool at the end of the year, at the end of the season, will be a much bigger, much more hyped event, and I think it's going to be good in general. Of note, this new league, the Call of Duty World League, is an Activision sponsored thing, which means this also includes Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer for future Call of Duty games. Now we're starting out with Treyarch here, but moving forward, whatever Infinity Ward has next and what is very likely to be Advanced Warfare 2 will all be played through the Call of Duty Pro League. Another odd thing is that there has been no official announcement on MLG's involvement, which is unusual given their partnership in the past years, and typically they're already announcing tournaments and streaming and stuff like that at this point. But MLG has nothing to say, at least not that I can tell. I mean, it's a little bit early in the morning and a lot of these guys are asleep, but as of now I've seen no official tweets, no retweets, none of the guys really saying anything specific about what they're going to do or at all about it, which is somewhat unusual. No press releases, no officially streamed on MLG.tv, none of that sort of stuff, which is pretty suspicious. And as we talked about earlier this year in my tinfoil hat type video, my best guess is that MLG is out. I bet they're going to be out both for running the bulk of the tournament, the league itself, and probably for streaming too. That's my guess. My guess is that there's no more going to be streaming on MLG.tv. About a 95% chance you'll see Call of Duty eSports moving back to Twitch, with Activision running it instead of being kind of very advertisement heavily focused like MLG was, because that's their primary revenue. Activision doesn't need Twitch advertisement revenue because the entire show is basically an advertisement for the game, same way League of Legends and Counter-Strike and stuff is. About a 5% chance that you might see this on YouTube Gaming, or maybe even streamed through both. That would be kind of interesting. I'm on the YouTube Gaming train, but it's all good to me. And MLG could still be getting paid to run major events. It would not surprise me if some of these local LANs and some of these, challenge events or whatever are run by MLG, because that would only make sense because they've been doing COD for years and they can easily do it. This is probably going to be good for overall view numbers. You're going to see a lot more casuals get interested in Call of Duty competitive, much more easy to access off of MLG TV. Not sure about the overall prize pool or tournament qualities. Much as we like to bash on MLG, they've always had a consistently high prize pool, and they've always ran consistently quality tournaments. Activision's going to have to step up and fill in some big shoes on that one. Guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Drifter out.